Here's a wild thought: what if the love story you never saw coming started with a handshake, not a heartbeat? You're stuck, drowning in bills, pride, or just plain bad luck, and some stranger offers a lifeline, a convenient marriage, no strings, just a deal. Sounds cold, right? But wait, what if that icy pact thaws into something so real it shocks you silly? Chester Bennett and Victoria Monroe didn't believe in fairy tales either, until their deal turned destiny flipped the script. You won't believe how fast just business becomes from strangers to soulmates. Stick around, and I'll show you how they cracked the code to love after agreement in a way anyone can steal. Ready for a lesson that'll shake up everything you thought you knew about love? Sometimes life throws you a curveball, and you're left scrambling for a way out. Enter the shock of a convenient marriage. Picture this: two people, strangers really, sitting across a table, hashing out a deal that's more business than romance. For Chester Bennett, it's about saving his family's crumbling legacy, a lesson in swallowing pride for the greater good. For Victoria Monroe, it's a chance to secure her future, a practical move when the world feels like it's closing in. What starts as a marriage of convenience feels cold, calculated, almost like signing a lease, except this contract comes with a heartbeat. And you won't believe how fast necessity can spark an unexpected connection. Now, don't get me wrong, nobody's dreaming of white picket fences here. Chester's got his eyes on the prize: stability, a way to keep the Bennett name afloat without drowning in debt. Victoria? She's all about independence, proving she doesn't need anyone, until this deal lands in her lap. It's a deal turned destiny neither saw coming, a pact rooted in logic, not love. Imagine needing a roommate to split the rent, but instead, you're picking out rings. Wild, right? Yet, beneath the surface, there's a whisper of hidden feelings neither dares to name. Here's where it gets juicy: they're not soulmates, not yet, anyway. This isn't love after agreement, it's survival mode with a twist. Chester's the guy who's always got a plan, but even he can't predict how sharing a space shifts things. Victoria's tough as nails, but signing her name next to his stirs something she can't shake. It's like agreeing to carpool with a stranger, only to find yourself wondering about their playlist. The contract of love isn't inked yet, but the groundwork's there, sneaky and subtle. Let's be real, practical deals like this happen more than you'd think. Think of that friend who moved in with someone just to afford the rent, only to end up closer than expected. Chester and Victoria aren't so different, they're building a life together out of sheer necessity. The shock comes when you realize how thin the line is between just business and something more. It's a lesson in how life loves to mess with your plans, like when you swear you'll never eat sushi, then find yourself craving it. You might wonder, how do two people even pull this off without tripping over their own rules? Well, they're pros at keeping it surface level, at least for now. Chester's all about the numbers, crunching them like a lifeline, while Victoria's mapping out her next move, cool as ever. But here's the kicker: every handshake, every shared glance, plants a seed for an emotional transformation they don't see coming. It's not passionate realization yet, just a faint hum of possibility, like static before the radio tunes in. And yeah, it's a little nuts to think a pact could rewrite your whole story. From strangers to soulmates? Not quite, but the potential's simmering. Chester might crack a rare smile over coffee, or Victoria might linger a second too long at the door, small stuff that hints at when deals become love. It's like planting a garden you didn't mean to. You toss in seeds, and suddenly, something's growing. The trick is, they're too busy dodging the what-ifs to notice the shift. So, here they are, tied together by a choice that's all brain, no heart, or so they think. An unforeseen romance isn't on the agenda, but life's got a funny way of flipping the script. Chester and Victoria are just trying to stay afloat, juggling their own stakes in this odd little game. You won't believe how a simple yes can unravel into something wilder than they bargained for. It's not about love yet, it's about the terms, the rules, the fine print. Or is it? Alright, so they've said, I do, but it's more like, I agree, with a side of fine print. Chester Bennett's laid out his terms: keep the family business alive, no messy feelings, just a convenient marriage that works like clockwork. Victoria Monroe's got her own playbook: financial security, independence intact, no strings beyond the paper they signed. It's a deal turned destiny with rules so clear you could frame them, but here's the shock: emotions don't read memos. You won't believe how fast a handshake turns into a heartbeat. What happens next? They're about to find out. Rules sound great until you're living them, right? Chester's expecting Victoria to play the part, smile at events, nod at meetings, done. She's counting on him to keep his distance, respect her space, and not pry into her world. It's a marriage of convenience with a checklist, like splitting chores with a roommate, except the stakes are higher. But then Victoria catches Chester humming off-key in the kitchen, and he spots her doodling in a notebook. Suddenly, hidden feelings creep in, and the terms feel less like a shield and more like a cage. Here's the thing: clarity's overrated when your heart's got other plans. Chester's all about control. Think of him as the guy who organizes his sock drawer by color, but this is chaos. Victoria's no pushover either. She's built walls taller than most, yet something's shifting. It's like agreeing to a study group but ending up swapping life stories instead. A pact with the heart sneaks into the fine print, and from business to love starts feeling less crazy by the day. Ever tried sticking to a diet during the holidays? That's them with their no emotions rule. Chester might tell himself it's just business, but when Victoria laughs at his terrible coffee-making skills, it's a lesson in vulnerability. She might swear she's immune, but his quiet thanks after she saves a dinner party hits different. The contract of love isn't signed yet, but it's being drafted in stolen glances. You can almost hear life chuckling, good luck with that plan. Now, imagine setting boundaries with someone you see every day. Tough, huh? They're pros at keeping it civil, but the unexpected connection keeps popping up like a stubborn weed. Chester's muttering about spreadsheets while Victoria's plotting her next move, yet they're syncing up without meaning to. It's a shock how well they fit, even when they're dodging the L word. Passionate realization still miles off, but the seeds are there, sprouting through the cracks. And let's not kid ourselves, emotions are messy, like spilling sauce on a white shirt. Chester's trying to logic his way through, but Victoria's sharp wit throws him off balance. She's guarding her heart, but his steady presence chips away at her armor. Building a life together wasn't the goal, but it's happening anyway, one awkward moment at a time. When deals become love starts whispering, and they're left wondering who's bending the rules first. So, they're stuck in this dance, terms on paper, chaos underneath. An unforeseen romance isn't what they signed up for, but it's knocking anyway. Chester and Victoria think they've got it all figured out, expectations locked tight. But you won't believe how emotions rewrite the script without asking permission. They're still playing by the book, for now, but living under one roof? That's a whole new game. Living together as spouses without the mushy stuff. That's their gig, and it's trickier than it sounds. Chester Bennett's got his side of the house, neat, orderly, like his life before this convenient marriage flipped it upside down. Victoria Monroe's carved out her own space, a fortress of independence amid this deal-turned destiny. They're roommates with a title, sharing a kitchen but not a heart, at least, that's the plan. The shock hits when you realize how hard it is to keep feelings out of the fridge. What happens next is anyone's guess. It's like they've drawn an invisible line down the middle of their world. Chester's mornings are all routine, coffee, paper, no chit-chat, while Victoria's blasting music, dodging his raised eyebrow. They've mastered the art of polite nods and excuse me's, a marriage of convenience running on autopilot. But then he leaves a mug out, and she tidies it up without a word, small stuff that blurs the line. You won't believe how these little acts plant seeds for an unexpected connection. Here's the kicker, they're pros at faking it for the outside world. At a party, Chester's arm around Victoria looks natural, but it's all choreography, no hidden feelings, just good acting. She plays along, dazzling guests with a smile that's half genuine, half scripted. It's like putting on a play where the audience claps, but backstage, they're strangers. Except, sometimes, her laugh lingers in his head, and he wonders why it matters. A pact with the heart? Not yet, but the script's getting fuzzy. Ever tried keeping a straight face when your dog's being ridiculous? That's them, dodging the pull of from business to love. Chester's all about the mission, keep it smooth, no hiccups, but Victoria's chaos throws him off. She's determined to stay detached, but his quiet, "You okay?" after a long day catches her off guard. It's a lesson in how closeness sneaks up, like a song you hum without realizing. The contract of love's still unsigned, but it's lurking. And yeah, it's weird sharing a life without sharing a soul, or so they think. They've got rules, no prying, no deep talks, just surface-level stuff. But when Chester fixes a leaky faucet while Victoria's cooking, it's oddly domestic, a shock to their system. Building a life together wasn't the deal, but it's happening anyway. Imagine splitting a pizza with a coworker, then finding yourself saving them a slice, small, but telling. The real test is keeping it cool when the world assumes they're more. Friends nudge Chester about the wife, and he shrugs it off. Victoria rolls her eyes at the happy couple comments. Yet, those assumptions stir something, an emotional transformation they dodge like pros. Passionate realization's a distant star, but every shared chore, every good night, inches them closer. When deals become love starts tapping at the door, they're too stubborn to answer. So, they're stuck in this odd little limbo, spouses on paper, strangers in spirit. An unforeseen romance feels miles away, but life's got a knack for shaking things up. Chester and Victoria think they've nailed this no-strings thing, gliding through their days like it's nothing. But you won't believe how living side by side cracks open doors they swore they'd locked. It's all smooth sailing, until it's not. Okay, so they're not lovers, got it, but then these tiny moments sneak in like uninvited guests. Chester Bennet's fixing toast one morning when Victoria Monroe slides him some jam, no words, just a smirk. It's a shock how something so simple flips a switch, a convenient marriage teetering towards something real. These unexpected connections pop up like wildflowers in concrete, small, stubborn, and hard to ignore. You won't believe how a glance or a gesture can rewrite the rules. What happens next feels like a slow burn. It's not fireworks, it's more like a flickering candle, subtle, but there. Chester's grumbling about a late meeting, and Victoria tosses him a coffee to go, saying, "Don't die out there." He freezes, half smiling, and she brushes it off like it's nothing. But it's not nothing, it's a deal turned destiny inching toward hidden feelings. Picture this, you lend a pal your jacket, and suddenly, you're wondering why you care if they're warm. That's them, caught off guard. Here's where it gets wild, they don't even see it coming. Victoria's reading on the couch, and Chester plops down with a book, silence, but it's cozy, not cold. A marriage of convenience shouldn't feel this easy, yet it does, like slipping into an old habit. It's a lesson in how closeness creeps up, like when you binge a show with someone and suddenly miss them when they're gone. From business to love starts whispering, quiet but clear. Ever notice how the little things stick with you? Chester remembers how Victoria likes her tea, she knows he hates clutter but never says it. These moments of connection stack up, a pact with the heart forming without a vote. Try this, next time you're with a friend, notice how a shared laugh shifts the air, it's the same magic here. The contract of love's still a draft, but the ink's wet, ready to spill. And yeah, it's almost funny how they dodge it. Victoria catches Chester humming her favorite song, and he shrugs, heard it somewhere. She hides a grin when he leaves her a note about dinner, practical, sure, but sweet. It's a shock how these bits weave them closer, building a life together by accident. Emotional transformations brewing, like coffee you smell before it's done, faint, but promising. They're still playing it cool, though, masters of denial. Chester's muttering about schedules while Victoria's plotting her day, but their orbits keep colliding. Passionate realizations not here yet, just a tease of when deals become love on the horizon. It's like planting a seed and pretending it won't grow. You can ignore it, but the roots don't care. An unforeseen romance tiptoes closer, and they're none the wiser. So, these sparks. They're small, but they're stacking up fast. Chester and Victoria think they've got this spouse not lover thing on lock, but life's got other plans. You won't believe how a shared silence or a tossed jacket can nudge them towards something deeper. It's not love, not yet, but it's more than they bargained for. And those moments? They're just the start. Something's shifting, and it's not just the furniture. Enter their first real test as a team. Chester Bennet's juggling a crisis at work when Victoria Monroe steps in, calm as ever, with a fix he didn't see coming. The shock of her save hits him hard. A convenient marriage suddenly feels less like a deal and more like a lifeline. This unexpected connection catches them both off guard, a lesson in how teamwork rewrites the script. You won't believe what happens next when they start questioning the why behind their pact. It's a slow unraveling. Picture this: a storm knocks out the power, and they're stuck, scrambling for candles like it's a scavenger hunt. Chester's cursing the dark while Victoria's laughing, rigging up a lantern with duct tape and grit. It's a deal-turned-destiny moment, nothing big, just them against the chaos, and it sticks. Hidden feelings bubble up, like when you realize your buddy's got your back in a pinch. A pact with the heart? Maybe not yet, but the blueprint's there. Here's the crazy part: they didn't sign up for this closeness. Chester's always been the lone wolf, but Victoria's quip about his awful flashlight skills cracks his shell. She's used to flying solo, yet his quiet, nice work lingers longer than it should. It's a marriage of convenience hitting a speed bump, or a speed boost, toward from business to love. Think of it like a road trip: you plan the route, but the detours change everything. Ever had a moment that flips how you see someone? That's them, post-storm, sipping tea by candlelight, chatting about nothing. Chester admits he's rubbish in chaos. Victoria shrugs, could have fooled me. It's a shock how natural it feels, a lesson in letting guards down, like when you confess a dumb fear to a friend and feel lighter. The contract of love's edges soften, and they're left wondering what's real. And yeah, it's messy, they're not ready to admit anything. Chester's back to his spreadsheets next day, but he's replaying her laugh. Victoria's sketching plans, yet his steady hands fixing a fuse box pop into her head. Building a life together sneaks in, an emotional transformation neither clocked coming. Passionate realization still a whisper, but when deals become love starts humming louder. They try shrugging it off, business as usual, right? But that night sticks like glue, a shared win that's more than practical. Chester's muttering about backups while Victoria's plotting stormproofing, but their walls are thinning. It's like cooking with someone and realizing you're in sync. You don't plan it, it just happens. An unforeseen romance tiptoes closer, and their just a deal excuse feels flimsy. So, this hiccup, this storm, cracks the facade they've built. Chester and Victoria think they've got their intentions locked tight, but life's tossing curveballs. You won't believe how one night can nudge them towards something bigger, something neither bargained for. It's not a full shift yet, just a nudge, but the questions. They're piling up fast. Okay, so they've dodged feelings pretty well, until the past comes knocking with a vengeance. Chester Bennet's flipping through old photos when Victoria Monroe catches him, a faded snapshot sparking a story he didn't plan to tell. The shock of his quiet confession, a lost dream buried under duty, hits her like a ton of bricks. This convenient marriage suddenly feels less like a deal and more like a window into hidden feelings. You won't believe how peeling back layers pulls them closer. What happens next is raw and real. It's not like they meant to spill their guts, life just has a way of forcing it. Victoria's turn comes over late-night coffee. She mentions a scar, literal and not, tied to a choice she regrets. Chester listens, no judgment, just a nod that says, I get it. It's a deal turned destiny shifting gears, a lesson in how scars connect us. Think of that time you told a friend your messiest truth and felt seen. That's them, stumbling into a pact with the heart. Here's the wild bit, they're not used to this vulnerability stuff. Chester's built his life on grit, but sharing that old wound cracks his armor wide open. Victoria's guarded as heck, yet his steady, you did what you could, melt something inside her. A marriage of convenience shouldn't dig this deep, but from business to love creeps in like fog. It's like finding an old journal and realizing the story's still writing itself. Ever notice how secrets bond you in weird ways? Chester admits he gave up art for the family gig. Victoria counters with her runaway stint at 19. They laugh, nervous, real, and it's a shock how it fits, like puzzle pieces they didn't know they had. Building a life together gets messier, richer, an emotional transformation brewing slow. The contract of love still unsigned, but the terms are blurring fast. And yeah, they try brushing it off, old habits die hard. Chester's back to his stoic self next day, but her words echo in his head. Victoria's sketching again, and his face slips into her lines without her meaning it to. Passionate realizations teasing them, a whisper of when deals become love in the air. It's like swapping playlists with someone and finding your favorite song on theirs, unexpected, but right. They're not diving into mushy territory yet, too stubborn for that. But Chester's leaving her coffee now, a silent, thanks for listening, and Victoria's asking about his old sketches, casual-like. An unexpected connection deepens, roots sinking into shared cracks. It's a lesson in how the past isn't just baggage, it's glue. An unforeseen romance simmers, and they're too tangled to deny it. So, these confessions? They're game changers, stripping the just business veneer clean off. Chester and Victoria thought they'd keep it light, but the past had other plans. You won't believe how bearing souls nudges them closer, turning strangers into something more. It's not love yet, just a bridge, but it's sturdy enough to walk on. Alright, buckle up, this one's a doozy, charged with a spark neither saw coming. Chester Bennett's fixing a shelf, sweat on his brow, when Victoria Monroe hands him a screwdriver, their fingers brushing just a beat too long. The shock of that touch zaps through them, a convenient marriage teetering on the edge of something wild. You won't believe how close they get, lips inches apart, breath caught, before pulling back. What happens next leaves them reeling, hearts pounding like drums. It's not planned, no way they'd script this, but the air's thick with it. Chester's muttering about nails, but his eyes lock on hers, and Victoria's teasing smirk fades to something softer. For a second, the deal turned destiny feels irrelevant, hidden feelings scream loud and clear. It's like that moment you lean in during a late-night chat, then chicken out, except this time, the stakes are sky-high. A pact with the hearts dangling right there, unspoken. Here's the crazy part, they're not ready, but their bodies don't care. Victoria's hand lingers near his arm, and Chester's voice drops low, asking, "You good?" It's electric, raw. A marriage of convenience shouldn't feel this alive, yet from business to love crackles like a live wire. Picture a thunderstorm rolling in, you feel it before the rain hits, and that's them, caught in the buildup. Ever been so close to crossing a line you could taste it? That's their vibe, tense, thrilling, a lesson in how chemistry sneaks up. Chester's brain's yelling, abort, but his pulse says otherwise, Victoria's cool exterior's cracking, her laugh shaky. The contract of love's hovering, unsigned but bold. Try this, next time you're near someone, notice how a brush of skin shifts the air, it's that, times 10. And yeah, they snap out of it, barely. Chester steps back, clearing his throat, muttering about the shelf. Victoria busies herself with nothing, cheeks flushed. But the shock lingers, an emotional transformation they can't unfeel. Passionate realizations knocking hard, when deals become love no longer a what if. It's like almost texting an ex, you don't, but the urge sticks with you. They play it off like champs, dodging eye contact over dinner. Chester's poking at his food, Victoria's rattling off some work story. Normal, right? Wrong. Building a life together just got a jolt, an unexpected connection buzzing under the surface. It's a lesson in how one moment can flip the script, like hearing a song that changes your whole mood. So, they didn't kiss, but man, they felt it, a near miss that's louder than words. Chester and Victoria think they've got this spouse thing under control, but that spark says otherwise. You won't believe how one almost changes everything, leaving them stunned and scrambling. It's not love yet, it's chaos, but it's pulling them in deep. Now things are messy, real messy, and they're stuck wrestling with it. Chester Bennet's replaying that almost kiss like a broken record, a convenient marriage now a battleground of hidden feelings. Victoria Monroe's no better, dodging his gaze but feeling the pull anyway, a shock to her system. They're tangled in a deal-turned destiny, torn between sticking to the rules and jumping ship. You won't believe how hard it is to keep it together. What happens next? A tug of war between head and heart. It's like they're walking a tightrope with no net, scary, thrilling, all at once. Chester's telling himself it's nothing, just a fluke, but his pulse races when she's near. Victoria's swearing she's fine, but her mind's spinning, why'd she lean in? A marriage of convenience wasn't built for this, yet from business to love keeps knocking. Picture trying to focus at work with your crush 2 desks over, that's their daily grind now. Here's the rub, they've got rules for a reason, and breaking them feels like betrayal. Chester's all about honor, keep the deal, save the legacy, but his guard's slipping fast. Victoria's clinging to independence, but his quiet strength's a magnet she can't shake. It's a pact with the heart clashing with logic, a lesson in how feelings don't negotiate. The contract of love's tempting, but the fine print's screaming, stop. Ever tried ignoring a craving? That's them, shoving it down but failing miserably. Chester catches himself smiling at her sarcasm, Victoria's softening at his rare rants about art. It's a shock how natural it feels, an emotional transformation they're fighting tooth and nail. Try this, next time you're torn, write out pros and cons, works until your heart laughs at the list. Passionate realizations lurking, loud and uninvited. And yeah, they're stubborn as heck, denial's their superpower. Chester's burying himself in work, muttering about focus, while Victoria's sketching like it'll erase him from her head. But building a life together keeps tugging, an unexpected connection they can't outrun. It's like trying to quit coffee, you say you will, but the smell pulls you back. When deals become love whispers, and they're running out of excuses. They're pros at the fake-it game, though, smiles for the crowd, cool as ice. At a dinner, Chester's chatting up guests while Victoria shines, but their eyes keep colliding. The tension's a live wire, a lesson in how attraction doesn't care about deals. An unforeseen romance dances closer, and they're tripping over their own feet trying to dodge it. You won't believe how loud silence can scream. So, they're stuck in this push-pull, hearts racing, head spinning. Chester and Victoria want to stick to the plan, really, they do, but feelings don't play by rules. It's a mess of shoulds and wants, a convenient marriage cracking under the weight. The terms are still there, but they're fading fast, and something's gotta give. Just when they're juggling their own chaos, boom, an outsider crashes the party. Chester Bennet's old rival, a slick guy with a grudge, shows up sniffing around the convenient marriage, poking holes in their story. Victoria Monroe's ex-friend, bitter and nosy, joins the fray, digging into their deal-turned destiny like it's her job. The shock of this double whammy forces them to team up fast. You won't believe how threats flip the script. What happens next is pure survival mode. It's not just gossip, it's a wrecking ball aimed at their setup. Chester's fuming, defending the Bennett name while this guy taunts, some marriage, huh? Victoria's cool exterior cracks as her ex-pal smirks, you're fooling no one. A marriage of convenience wasn't built for this heat, but hidden feelings flare when they're backed into a corner. It's like when a bully picks on your crew, you fight, even if it's messy. Here's the twist, they're stronger together than they thought. Chester's strategizing, all grit, while Victoria's charm disarms the doubters at a tense dinner. They're syncing up, a pact with the heart forming mid-battle. Crazy, right? From business to love gets a shove, a lesson in how pressure reveals what's real. Think of that time you and a buddy faced a storm together, bonds tighten quick. Ever notice how threats clarify what matters? Chester's snapping at the rival, but his arm brushes Victoria's, grounding him. She's throwing shade at her ex-friend, yet his steady nod keeps her sharp. It's a shock how they click, building a life together under fire. The contract of love's still a maybe, but defending it feels like signing it in blood, raw and binding. And yeah, they're not confessing anything, too proud for that. Chester's grumbling about idiots while fixing his tie, Victoria's plotting revenge with a sly grin. But the emotional transformation's undeniable, passionate realization creeping in like dawn. It's like prepping for a big test with someone, you gripe, but you'd miss them if they bailed. When deals become love starts humming, loud and clear. They pull it off, barely, shutting down the noise with a united front. At a party, Chester's glare silences the rival, Victoria's wit sends her ex-pal packing. An unexpected connection solidifies, a lesson in how us versus them shifts the game. An unforeseen romance isn't the goal, but it's weaving through the chaos anyway. You won't believe how fighting for the deal feels like fighting for each other. So, this mess. It's a wake-up call, shoving them closer than they planned. Chester and Victoria thought they'd coast through this arrangement, but outsiders lit a match. The threats are gone, for now, but the fallout's real, a convenient marriage tougher than ever. They're still catching their breath, but something's clicked, and it's not going anywhere. Alright, here it is, the moment that flips everything upside down, no going back. Chester Bennett stuck late, rain pounding, when Victoria Monroe shows up with an umbrella and a "you're an idiot" grin. The shock of her being there, soaked but steady, hits him like lightning, a convenient marriage cracking wide open. You won't believe how one gesture unravels years of walls. What happens next is a reckoning they can't dodge. It's not dramatic like the movies, just real, raw, and quiet. Chester's muttering thanks, but his eyes say more. Victoria's brushing it off, but her hand lingers on his arm. A deal-turned destiny hits its peak, hidden feelings spilling out like water through a busted dam. Picture this, you're lost, and someone finds you, not because they have to, but because they want to. That's them, staring down a pact with the heart. Here's the kicker, they've been blind to it, till now. Chester's always been the fixer, but her showing up fixes him in a way he didn't expect. Victoria's dodged needing anyone, yet chasing him through the rain feels right. Crazy, huh? A marriage of convenience dissolves into from business to love, a lesson in how the heart doesn't wait for permission. The contract of love's there, unsigned but screaming. Ever had a moment where you just know? That's them, drenched and dumbstruck, realizing it's not just a deal anymore. Chester's voice cracks, "You didn't have to." Victoria shrugs, "Yeah, I did." It's a shock how simple it is, building a life together no longer a side effect but the point. Passionate realization lands hard, like finishing a book and seeing the ending was there all along. And yeah, they're not jumping into confessions, too shell-shocked for that. Chester's kicking puddles, hiding a grin, Victoria's wringing out her hair, muttering about his timing. But the emotional transformation's locked in, when deals become love no longer a maybe. It's like tasting a dish you've cooked blind, it's messy, but it's yours, and it's good. They head home, soaked but lighter, words unspoken but heavy. Chester's stealing glances, Victoria's humming, off-key but alive. An unexpected connection's now a lifeline, a lesson in how one night can rewrite the rules. An unforeseen romance isn't a surprise anymore, it's the truth, staring them down. You won't believe how rain can wash away denial. So, this turning point, it's their line in the sand, deal be damned. Chester and Victoria thought they'd keep it clean, practical, but life laughed last. It's not a fairy tale, just two people figuring out what's real. The feelings are there, loud and messy, and they're not running anymore. Now they're in it, no more tiptoeing around the obvious. Chester Bennet's pacing, finally spitting out, "We need to talk," and Victoria Monroe nods, "Yeah, we do." The shock of owning it, a convenient marriage turning real, fires them up. They're done with the deal-turned-destiny excuses, hidden feelings are front and center. You won't believe how fierce they get when they stop hiding. What happens next is all guts, no games. It's not easy, confronting this stuff never is, but they're all in. Chester's laying it out, "I don't want just a deal anymore," Victoria's firing back, "Me neither, let's make it ours." A marriage of convenience flips to a pact with the heart, a lesson in grabbing what matters. Think of that time you ditched a dead-end job for a dream, scary, but alive. That's them, choosing from business to love. Here's the wild part, they're not pros at this, they're stumbling, but it works. Chester's awkward, "I like you, really like you," lands soft, Victoria's, "Same, idiot," cracks the tension. It's raw, a shock how honesty cuts through the noise. Building a life together shifts from accident to intent, the contract of love rewriting itself mid-flight. Passionate realization's not a maybe, it's a yes. Ever fought for something you didn't know you wanted? That's their vibe, scrappy and true. Chester's digging in, "We're worth it," Victoria's nodding, "Damn right." It's an emotional transformation with teeth, like when you stand up for a friend and feel 10 feet tall. Try this, next time you're scared, say it out loud, works wonders. When deals become love hits, it's a battle cry. And yeah, they're not perfect, doubt creeps in, but they squash it. Chester's muttering about risks, Victoria's rolling her eyes, "We've survived worse." An unexpected connection turns ironclad, a lesson in how fighting feels right when it's for us. An unforeseen romance. It's theirs now, claws out, ready to defend. You won't believe how stubborn love makes them. They're a team now, no half measures, full tilt toward what's real. Chester's sketching again, inspired, Victoria's sketching him, smirking. The air's lighter, charged with intent, a shift from "have to" "want to." It's like picking a side in a tug-of-war and pulling hard, exhausting, but you'd do it again. The deal's still there, but it's a footnote. So, they've made their call, feelings over rules, heart over head. Chester and Victoria aren't playing it safe anymore, they're all in, messy and bold. You won't believe how a choice like that rewires everything, turning strangers into warriors. It's not smooth yet, just started, but they're fighting, and that's what counts. Alright, so they've jumped, now they've gotta figure out the landing. Chester Bennet still half stunned, asking, "So, what are we now?" and Victoria Monroe shrugs, "Us, just better." The shock of ditching the convenient marriage script leaves them scrambling, but in a good way. They're rewriting a deal-turned-destiny into love after agreement, piece by piece. You won't believe how tricky, and fun, it gets. What happens next is pure reinvention. It's like remodeling a house while you live in it, messy, but worth it. Chester's testing "babe" over coffee, grinning when she snorts, Victoria's stealing his jacket, calling it ours. A marriage of convenience fades, hidden feelings now the foundation. Picture this, you swap out a shaky table for solid oak, same spot, new vibe. That's them, shifting from business to love with every step. Here's the catch, they're learning on the fly, no manual. Chester's cooking dinner, badly, and Victoria's laughing, "We'll survive." They're not just spouses now, they're partners, a pact with the heart sealing the deal. It's a lesson in how love's not a finish line, it's a build. The contract of love's theirs to shape, rough edges and all, like clay they're molding together. Ever tried redefining something big? That's their gig, clumsy but real. Chester's opening up about dreams, art, maybe, while Victoria's nodding, "Do it." She's sketching plans, and he's chiming in, teamwork, not duty. Building a life together flips from chore to choice, an emotional transformation that's loud and alive. Passionate realizations here, and it's got roots. And yeah, they trip, old habits linger like ghosts. Chester's overthinking, Victoria's snapping, relax already. But they catch each other, a shock how natural it feels, like when you and a pal sync up without trying. When deals become love settles in, it's less a leap, more a slide. An unexpected connection's now their compass, guiding the chaos. They're testing boundaries, too, playful, bold. Chester's sneaking kisses, Victoria's tugging him into dance's mid-living room. It's a lesson in how partnership bends, not breaks, think of it like stretching dough, flexible but strong. An unforeseen romance isn't unforeseen anymore, it's theirs, loud and proud. You won't believe how us becomes the best word they know. So, they're navigating this shift, deal fading, love rising. Chester and Victoria aren't just coasting, they're crafting something new, raw and real. It's not perfect, just theirs, and that's the magic. The old rules are dust, now it's about what they want, together. Just when they're finding their groove, life throws a gut punch, hard and fast. Chester Bennet's hit with a leak, someone sabotaging his business, and fingers point everywhere. Victoria Monroe's rocked too, her old crew's whispering betrayal, threatening their convenient marriage reborn. The shock of this double blow tests their deal turned destiny like never before. You won't believe how deep they have to dig. What happens next is make or break. It's chaos, trust's on the line, and they're scrambling. Chester's pacing, who'd do this, while Victoria's sharp, we'll find out, together. A marriage of convenience turned love after agreement faces its first real storm, hidden feelings their anchor. It's like when your car breaks down mid-trip, you fix it or walk away, no in-between. They're choosing the wrench, a pact with the heart in overdrive. Here's the brutal truth, doubt creeps in, ugly and loud. Chester's wondering if she's hiding something, Victoria's eyeing his silence, tense. But then he grabs her hand, I'm with you, and she nods, same. From business to love gets battle-tested, a lesson in how trust isn't given, it's earned. The contract of love's shaky, but they're clutching it tight. Ever faced a crisis that showed who's real? That's them, sifting through lies and leads, Chester's grilling contacts, Victoria's sniffing out clues. They're a team, a shock how instinct kicks in, like when you and a buddy tackle a mess and come out stronger. Building a life together means this, too, grit, not just grins. Passionate realization holds, but it's sweating. And yeah, it's ugly, yelling, tears, the works. Chester's snapping, I need you to be straight, Victoria's firing back, I am, check yourself. But they don't bolt, they fix it, raw and real. An emotional transformation hardens, when deals become love proving its chops. It's like patching a boat mid-storm, you curse, but you row, and it holds. They pull through, narrowly, unmasking the culprits, a jealous ex and a greedy rival. Chester's glare shuts it down, Victoria's wit seals the win. An unexpected connection turns steel, a lesson in how crises forge something unbreakable. An unforeseen romance stands tall, battered but bold. You won't believe how trust turns scars into strength. So, this test, it's their crucible, burning away the fluff. Chester and Victoria emerge tougher, closer, a bond no one's snapping. It's not pretty, just true, and that's their power. The crisis fades, but the lesson sticks, loud and clear. Alright, here's the big one, the moment truth busts wide open. Chester Bennet's had enough, blurting over breakfast, I love you, deal or no deal. Victoria Monroe freezes, forked mid-air, the shock of his words flipping their convenient marriage upside down. A deal turned destiny hits its climax, hidden feelings now a neon sign. You won't believe how one sentence rewrites it all. What happens next is pure, unfiltered heart. It's not smooth, He's a mess, stumbling, I mean it, Vic. She's staring, silent, then whispers, I love you too, God help us. A marriage of convenience crumbles, love after agreement rising from the ash. It's like when you finally tell a friend their family, awkward, but the air clears fast. A pact with the heart sealed, no takebacks. Here's the wild bit, they didn't plan this, couldn't have. Chester's been choking it down, but her laugh, her fight, broke him open. Victoria's been dodging it, but his steady, I'm here, tore her walls down. From business to love lands hard, a lesson in how truth doesn't wait for timing. The contract of love signed, invisible ink, but permanent. Ever bared your soul and held your breath? That's Chester, waiting, Victoria, reeling, but they lean in, not out. He's grinning, we're nuts, she's nodding, totally. It's a shock how right it feels, building a life together now their North Star. Passionate realization's not a spark, it's a blaze, roaring loud. Try this, say what scares you, it's freedom. And yeah, it's not all roses, there's still them, stubborn and scrappy. Chester's muttering, took me long enough, Victoria's smirking, you're slow. But the emotional transformation's locked, when deals become love no longer a question. It's like finishing a puzzle and seeing the picture, obvious, once it's there. They shift, small, big, all at once. Chester's kissing her forehead, Victoria's curling into him, no words needed. An unexpected connection's now their bedrock, an unforeseen romance they own. It's a lesson in how confessions don't just change the air, they change the ground you stand on. You won't believe how love rewrites rules they swore they'd never break. The deal's a ghost now, fading fast. So, this confession, it's their earthquake, shaking loose every what if. Chester and Victoria aren't just partners anymore, they're lovers, real and raw. A convenient marriage turned love after agreement stares them down, daring them to step up. It's not a neat bow, just a beginning, messy and theirs, and that's what makes it sing. Now they're digging deeper, unearthing gold they didn't know was there. Chester Bennett sketching again, shyly showing Victoria Monroe a dream he'd buried, maybe an art studio someday. She's grinning, I want a space too, something mine, ours. The shock of syncing up turns their deal turned destiny into something solid. You won't believe how dreams glue them tighter. What happens next is pure harmony. It's not forced, they're just talking, late nights, big ideas spilling out. Chester's muttering about paint and light, Victoria's dreaming of a garden, a spot to breathe. A marriage of convenience fades further, hidden feelings fueling a pact with the heart. Picture this, you and a pal plan a trip, and suddenly, it's not just talk, it's real. That's them, from business to love in full bloom. Here's the magic, they're not compromising, they're building. Chester's, I back you, meets her, you should do it too, and it clicks, crazy, right? It's a lesson in how shared goals aren't just plans, they're roots. The contract of love's less a document, more a promise, weaving their what-ifs into we will. Passionate realizations their fuel now. Ever found someone who gets your weird dreams? That's their vibe, Chester's doodling her garden, she's plotting his studio layout. It's a shock how natural it flows, building a life together turning into a masterpiece. Try this, next time you dream big, tell someone, it's lighter shared. When deals become love locks in, it's a foundation, not a fluke. And yeah, they're not flawless, Chester's over-planning, Victoria's impatient, just start. But they laugh it off, an emotional transformation smoothing the edges. An unexpected connection deepens, like roots cracking stone, slow, steady, strong. An unforeseen romance isn't a surprise anymore, it's their rhythm, pulsing loud. They're dreaming out loud now, sketching futures over coffee in chaos. Chester's, we could do this, meets Victoria's, we are, and it's electric, a lesson in how common ground isn't found, it's made. You won't believe how fast mine becomes ours, a convenient marriage long gone. They're not just talking, they're planting seeds. So, this discovery, it's their glue, binding them beyond the deal. Chester and Victoria aren't drifting anymore, they're aiming, together, at something bigger. It's not perfect, just alive, and that's their strength. The dreams are real, and they're running toward them, hand in hand. Here it is, the finish line that's really a starting block, blooming wild and free. Chester Bennet's holding Victoria Monroe close, whispering, "This is us now," and she's nodding, "Yeah, all in." The shock of a convenient marriage turning into love after agreement hits full force, a garden from concrete. You won't believe how love takes root and stays. What happens next is theirs to shape. It's quiet, steady, not a sprint, but a slow dance. Chester's leaving notes, silly, sweet, while Victoria's cooking his favorite, smirking when he gushes. A deal turned destiny fades, hidden feelings now their sunlight, bright, bold, real. It's like tending a plant you thought wouldn't grow, suddenly, it's thriving. A pact with the hearts their soil, deep and rich. Here's the beauty, they're not pretending anymore, it's effortless. Chester's painting her into his world, Victoria's weaving him into hers, crazy how it fits. From business to love's no longer a leap, it's home, a lesson in how commitment sneaks up and stays. The contract of love's unwritten but etched, every look, every touch screams it. Ever watched something bloom and felt it in your chest? That's them, Chester's "I'm not going anywhere" meets her "good, me neither." It's a shock how solid it feels, building a life together now their art. Passionate realizations their air, breathe it in, and it's life. Try this, hold what matters close, it grows when you do. And yeah, they're still them, Chester's forgetting dates, Victoria's teasing, get a calendar. But it's love, messy and true, an emotional transformation complete. When deals become love isn't a phrase, it's their pulse, steady and loud. An unexpected connection's their story, an unforeseen romance their truth, earned, not given. They're living it now, laughing, fighting, loving, all in. Chester's sketching her smile, Victoria's planting that garden, his hand in the dirt too. It's a lesson in how love doesn't just happen, it's built, brick by brick. You won't believe how a deal became this, a marriage of convenience flipped to forever. So, this love, it's theirs, blooming wild, rooted deep. Chester and Victoria aren't just surviving, they're thriving, a bond no deal could predict. It's not a fairy tale, just real, and that's the magic. They've got this, and it's only growing stronger. Well, there you have it, Chester and Victoria turned a cold, calculated convenient marriage into a love so real it'd make even the cynics cheer. From a deal turned destiny to building a life together, they stumbled, fought, and somehow bloomed into soulmates, proof that when deals become love, anything's possible. So, what hit you hardest? That almost kiss that left you gasping, or the confession that flipped their world? Drop a like if you're team love after agreement, share your favorite twist in the comments, did you see that ending coming, or were you rooting for a different vibe? Hit follow so you don't miss the next wild ride, we've got more stories where this came from.